Today, we are going to discuss the oil ban of 1975. 40 years ago, in 1975, the United States government decided to ban all exports on crude oil. Now, we pose the question to you. Should we lift the ban or should we not lift the ban?
In this video, we're going to cover three topics. First, the history surrounding the Arab oil ban of 1973 and the U.S. export ban on oil in 1975. Second, the arguments for keeping the ban on U.S. export crude oil. Third, the argument for lifting the ban on U.S. exports of crude oil. The first thing we're going to talk about today is the history surrounding the ban on crude export oil in the United States.
The time has come to end the long debate over national energy policy in the United States and to put ourselves solidly on the road to energy independence. This bill is only the beginning. Those were the words President Gerald Ford said on December 22, 1975, as he signed into law the Energy Policy and Conservation Act, a ban on most U.S. oil exports that remains a topic of energy debates today. Congress passed EPCA to stifle the impact of future oil embargoes by foreign oil-producing countries. Ford signed the bill after the 1973 Arab oil embargo shook the U.S. with high world oil prices. The law requires the president to ban crude oil exports, but left room for exceptions.
Second, we're going to talk about the argument for keeping the ban on oil.
One, it protects U.S. consumers from volatility and price spikes. Two, it might cause U.S. gasoline prices to rise and hurt the American consumer. Along with that, environmental groups are leery of boosting fossil fuel production even further with the excess amount of oil going into the global market. It allows to purchase crude oil on a virtually low price that wouldn't happen if there weren't a bottleneck effect that the ban causes.
Third, we're going to talk about the argument for removing the ban on crude oil.
First, lifting the ban would narrow the spread between U.S. and global prices. It will also open new markets for the U.S. production of oil. Thus, new jobs will be created, which is beneficial with today's economy, especially since companies like Schlumberger have cut thousands of positions. Second, studies show that gas prices would drastically drop. By recycling American money, there would be less stress on the current oil prices. Third, lifting the ban would hurt Saudi Arabia's plan, which has been driving to raise the price per barrel when selling them to the U.S. market.
Perhaps the best way to objectively evaluate the effectiveness of a piece of legislation is to look back and ask the questions: did this law achieve its intended goal and purpose? Do the circumstances in which the law was implemented still apply today? And finally, would the country benefit more or less without the law? It can be safely assumed that the original legislatures who wrote the export ban of 1975 had good intentions for doing so, such as to conserve American oil reserves and discourage foreign imports. Supporters of the export ban claim that it will protect U.S. consumers from price spikes and high gasoline prices. On the other hand, the staunch supporters for lifting the ban believe it would open new markets for the U.S. production of oil, leading to more jobs. The fact of the matter is, sometimes the status quo must be questioned, especially if a good outcome can result from erasing it. Both sides of the argument have their reasons for believing why the export ban should be lifted or not. But in either case, the reasons are merely just predictions of what might come to pass. In short, absolute certainty of what is to come is impossible to obtain. At the end of the day, only time can determine the future of America, with or without the oil export ban of 1975. This concludes our communication video revolving around the ongoing debate about the U.S. oil export ban. Thank you for watching.